Hello, this is Self Love Diaries with Aziza. This is like the fourth time recording this video. I don't know, but I'm gonna roll with it. Come on, y'all, let's do this. Okay, so if y'all been watching or if you haven't, this is a place where I talk about self love, things I've been through, how I got through it, how I'm currently dealing with it, if I'm over it, whatever, right? But I also talk about societal issues and things that people may need to know about. Okay, so because I am a lover of information, you never know where I pull things from. Okay, so today I need to give y'all a little bit of a history lesson, just a little bit. I promise I won't make it long for those who didn't like school or don't like that type of stuff. Just give me a minute and then we could talk for real. Okay, so I was watching this video of a young lady, and she was watching another young woman. And the young woman was talking about folklores and, folk tales and things that people say around certain areas. And, oh, there's a witch. And, I mean, not a witch, but a ghost. That's what I already want to say. Oh, there's a ghost, and all this little type of stuff. But anyway, they were interesting stories. Okay. And I don't know if it's getting close to Halloween, so I was watching it. I don't know, okay? But anyway, so this one story was about Lake Lanier in Georgia. And I'm not sure if because some of my family is from Georgia, I was so interested, or what was it that was calling me. But after she got through telling the story, I was so intrigued that I needed to go do my own research about this place because the story was just so wow. I couldn't take it. I needed to know. So, Lake Lanier sits right outside of Forsyth County, I believe. And it used to be a town called Oscarville in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Two things happened that started these events. First thing, there was a woman by the name of Ellen Grice. She claimed sexual assault. And we're not going to get into that whole backstory. Second woman was actually assaulted. It was undeniable that she had been assaulted and beaten, and her body was left near Oscarville, right outside of Oscarville, from what I gather from my research. Now, after that, there were 5 men arrested, and just to make things real short and simple, there was a racial purging of this area around 1912. Between 1912 and 1956, there were the destruction, demolition of a lot of buildings. They were just, clearing it out, whatever, what have you. And the United States somehow got a hold to a nice portion of this land. In 1956, the Beaufort Dam was built, and together between the Beaufort Dam and the Chattahoochee River, they combined and flooded out this area. Okay, now in this area was a host of businesses, 20 cemeteries. I'm not going to get into all of the structures or businesses that were there. It was a town. It had to function, okay? So anyway, a lot of these structures, since then, there has been a diver or several divers that have went into this lake and found that there are still unmarked graves under this water. Not only are there unmarked graves, there's still partial building structures and trees, and there's it's a lot going on under that water. Okay, Now, if you want to know all of the details, please go look up the story yourself. However, since its existence, there has been 700 deaths in that water. Since 1994, there has been 200 plus deaths in that water. Just recently, there was a man went missing. He fell off his jet ski. And this has been in the last couple weeks to 2 months or so. Okay. There was also somebody who got jumped off of something, diving into the water and got electrocuted somehow. There's a host of really weird stories of how people died there. Like, some stuff just is unexplainable. Not only that, I just watched a video of a double-decker boat. You know, they were having a great time dancing, twerking, doing their thing on this boat, upstairs, downstairs. And all of a sudden, the boat just started to tip over, and everybody had to either jump, fall in this boat. Now, this is a main attraction for this area where people go boating. This is like the place to be in this area in the summertime. Now, okay, one last thing about deaths over there. Now, even in 2012, Usher's son, stepson, whatever, was also one whose life was taken in this lake. Now, I'm not going to get off into the folklore part of this. However, what really baffled my mind was that is this like the only town that had been flooded? Because I've heard of towns being, towns of people being moved, and parks put up, like Central Park, and different areas, where they kind of move people along, and then they made like these big monuments and different things. But the water situation is a little strange for me, because I got to thinking, like, well, how many lakes are actually towns and cemeteries and such? And we swimming in graveyards? So I went on a hunt to find out exactly how many towns were flooded like this, and what towns are, what towns are still underwater. Now, to my count, I stopped after New York, I believe, when I was going through all of the states. I couldn't do anymore. But I got to about 75 towns in the United States that are currently sitting under some water, where we're having fun playing with the kids. And I'm not sure, but this is mighty strange. I mean, like, I don't know if y'all see me, but I done scratched a few times, because just the thought of swimming in a cemetery alone. Like, I don't even want to go. Like, I have had people say, I'll give you $100 if you could stay in the cemetery for a couple hours after dark. Like, you remember how people used to do that? If you run through the cemetery, you could get, if you can make it to the other side without turning, all of that. Because I don't know if anybody else remember that, but people used to do stuff like that. Can you spend a night in the cemetery? I don't even want to do that on land. So the idea of playing and swimming and frolicking and boat riding in a cemetery it gives me the absolute heebie-jeebies. Check on the lakes in y'all areas, because would you want to? Like, I literally had to check out the lake in my area, like the one I grew up frolicking in, to see if it was anything under there, because okay, I'm just saying. Okay, so I also, I don't want to leave this girl out, because she was a big part of my research, and her story really stood out. Her name was Sunny Dreads, and well, that's the name of her channel anyway. And she had a near death experience at this lake. What year it was, I'm not sure, but it had to been in the last 2, 3, 4 years, something like that, right? And she was talking about how she was on the back of this boat, and her partner didn't really want to go out there. I guess maybe they had heard some of the stories and this and that. And she was like, oh no, we gotta, YOLO, we only live once, blah, blah, blah. So eventually they talked her into getting on this raft that was on the back, they had on the back of their boat, because they out there hanging out, having fun. Again, the partner said, no, please don't do that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, soon as she gets on this raft, she said immediately, soon as they even tried to take off, like, everybody on the boat almost had the time of their life on this raft. But soon as she got on the raft, she said that the raft went under water, and she said it was like the longest 5 minutes of her life, right? She said, but after that, she had this weird dream that night where she was out swimming in Lake Lanier, and she went down, like she was scuba diving or something. And when she got down to a certain depth, she said that there was this man dressed really well, really handsome, blah, blah, blah. And he, put out his hand, like, come with me. And she took his hand and she went off down with him or whatever. And he was showing her this town, and it was so nice, and they was having a good time. And at one point of the dream, probably not too long later, but at one point of the dream, he began to rot right in front of her, and the town around her and all these beautiful structures began to decay and turn back into what was underneath, how it looks today under the water. Okay. And she was so shook by the whole experience, she just had to get online and tell her experience. Now, I went through several people, their experiences. Like, I probably did this for about a week. I was literally stuck at Lake Lanier and have never been there. Okay. But the idea of swimming in a graveyard, I'm telling you, it got every hair on my neck, everywhere, standing up. That's so crazy. I mean, and the thing about it is, like, we do this why? Is it like, is there cover-ups, or like, is I don't understand how these things have not been, how these stories have been hidden for so long. It's downright disturbing. I don't even want to say nothing more. I just, if this has interested anybody, please go look up these stories and find out for yourself. Because I think that there's some places we don't need to go and spend money to hang out. I just really don't think that we should be doing that. I think we need to go and research and find out where we going and what's going on in these places when we going visiting, because that's deep. Now, y'all have a wonderful day. I got some other information to bring, not sure when, but I hope that today is a wonderful day and you guys will enjoy it.